Hi there and welcome to Caleb's Kitchen. Today we're going to learn how to make crab puffs with a nice avocado glaze. Just kidding! Today we're going to inject testosterone. Alright, so what I'm going to do today, live on camera, is, this isn't live, YouTube version of live, not live stream, but you know, whatever the fuck. I'm actually going to inject myself on camera. I'm going to show you how I do this. I do this several times a week. I get a lot of questions about this. I will demonstrate this entire thing in this video. And let's do it. I am Caleb Jones. This is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We do 5 videos a week here on how to make both your business life and woman life more free, because you need both. We are also doing an online course giveaway right now. This is my online course on how you can create your own location-independent income. And normally that retails for about $1,200, $1,400 actually. And you might be able to get it for free. All you need to do is subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment, and I will announce the winner of the drawing on a regular basis here at the YouTube community feed here at this YouTube channel. Okay, so TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. That means basically if you're using injections like I am, and I'll go through this whole process, I'm injecting something into my body at least 5 days a week. Let's see, that would be Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. That's my schedule. Everyone's schedule is different. I'll demonstrate exactly how I do it. Before I get started, to be very clear, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Please consult with a qualified medical professional in your area. Okay, cool. So, what I've got in front of me here is I inject on a regular basis 3 things as part of my TRT protocol. First, I inject testosterone. That's what this is. This is testosterone cypionate. There's 2 kinds. There's cypionate and another kind I'm forgetting. I'm sure someone will let you know in the comments. It doesn't really matter. They're both about the same. And this is 200 mg/ml. So this is a little more concentrated than most. This is the vial it comes in. This will last me about, I don't know, 6 weeks or so, this vial. So this is about 6 weeks worth of testosterone. What I also inject is, on a regular basis, which I'll do today, it's called Bio Boost Plus. This is basically vitamin B. This is a concentrated vitamin B compound that I inject about 3 times a week. And the reason I do that, well, Caleb, why don't you just take pills? Because when you take vitamins, there's an old saying about vitamins are expensive urine. That's partially true. So when you take a vitamin B pill, you only get about 30% absorption because it goes through your stomach. So imagine that big vitamin B pill and crack off 1/3. That 2/3 is left doesn't even enter your body. When you do injections, you get 100% absorption. So I get 100% of the vitamin B that I'm actually buying. So I prefer to inject it rather than to take it orally. Make sense? So I do it with vitamin B. The third thing that I take is something called HCG. Another alternative is gonadorelin, and that is in the refrigerator right now. We won't show you that because that has to be refrigerated at all times. And what that does is that it keeps your natural testosterone, and the testosterone that you inject stacks on top of the natural testosterone. If you don't take HCG, you don't have to, and a lot of people don't. That just means that 100% of your natural testosterone production goes to 0, and your balls might shrink, maybe, depends on the guy. And so you have to rely 100% on the testosterone. I don't like that, so I take HCG. HCG, by the way, about a few weeks ago just became de facto illegal in the United States unless you buy it from a big giant corporate pharmacy, which is very expensive to rip you off. Thanks, big government. Thanks, Democrats and Republicans. Keep voting for Democrats and Republicans. You guys are doing a great job. So anyway, if you can't get HCG, if you were to start TRT anytime soon in the United States, you're probably going to have to use gonadorelin, which is the same thing. I've done both. They both work the same way. So there's 3 things I inject. I also started injecting a few weeks back human growth hormone peptide, but the procedure for that is very different. That goes into my stomach instead of into my shoulder, but it's more or less the same thing. And it's not really part of TRT. It's an entirely different protocol. I'll talk about that later maybe. Cool? Cool. Okay, so here's how this works. I am not going to inject the actual testosterone today. I lied. Instead, I'm going to inject the vitamin B. It's the same exact process so you can see what it looks like. The reason I don't want to inject this is because I'm not on the correct schedule as I record this video for when this needs to be injected. This follows a very strict schedule. You don't just inject this whenever you feel like it. It's a very strict schedule based on a 3 to 4 day what do they call it? Half-life time, I believe. I forget. Again, see, notice I'm not a doctor. So anyway, as I'm recording this video, it's a Monday. I don't inject this till tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning. I want to fuck up that schedule. So I'm not going to inject testosterone today. Instead, I'm going to inject the vitamin B, which is better anyway, because the vitamin B is colored. So the testosterone, actually, I'm going to pull this back out here, is, you can probably barely see it because of the stupid label on the outside. It's clear. It's actually in a oil, I think it's safflower oil, some kind of oil. Anyway, it's a natural oil, so it's very thick. And it would be hard to see on this video anyway, so I'm going to inject the vitamin B. You can actually see that. That is a lovely shade of purple. You'll see it in a second. So this vial, very dark coloration. You really can't see it. It's about half full. I'll show you how to do that. So here's how you do this. And by the way, when I go through this process, it's going to seem like a big hassle and a long time. It's not, because I do this every day. This entire process takes me about 120 seconds. About 2 minutes or less, because I've done it a billion times. So it's not like, oh my gosh, it seems like such a hassle to have to inject things every day. Literally 2 minutes or less. It's going to take me much longer in this video because I got to show you every step. But when I do this, bam, 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 I'm done. It's real quick. I do this in the morning when I'm getting ready in the morning in the bathroom, as I'm getting ready for the day. Same, it's just another procedure right after I brush my teeth. It's real simple. And I don't do this literally every day, but most days of the week. Okay, so first thing you do is you get your vial, and you get one of these alcohol swabs. You can buy these at any Walgreens or any place like that. You can get like 12 bucks, buys you like 1,000 of these. They're very cheap. And so you just tear one open. Can you see this on video? Yeah. This is preset alcohol swab. Woo! Smells like alcohol. And you have to swab the top, because you're going to inject the needle into the top of this vial. So you swab this. You don't want any bacteria, because the needle is going to go into your body. So you don't want any bacteria in your body. So you have to make sure that anything the needle touches has been sterilized. So that's the first thing. Then what you do is you get the needle. I use these needles. These are, what are these? These are insulin needles. So these are the same types of needles that guys use who are on diabetes, old fat guys. Or not old fat, I'm generalizing. A lot of people have diabetes or aren't old fat. I don't have diabetes, thank God. So guys use these for diabetes, guys and women use these for diabetes. I don't even know if you can see this in the video, the needle there, that needle right there, this is what's called a 2.9 gauge needle. The higher the gauge, the smaller and more narrow the needle is. So this is one of the smallest, I believe, the smallest needle that is available to you outside of a hospital. It's really, really tiny, and so people ask, well, does it hurt? Not really. This thing is so tiny you can barely feel it. When people talk about needles or think about needles, they're talking about or thinking about the needles that you get at the doctor, right? When you're sick and you're at the doctor at the hospital and they got to inject your ass with like antibiotics or painkillers, and those needles are not 29 gauge. Those are like 15 gauge. Those are big fat needles that fucking hurt. When you go donate blood, I donate blood as part of this procedure every 5 months or so, and they jam that needle right here. That thing is like a fucking tube going into your body. That's a very low gauge needle, which means a very thick, painful needle. So that's not what these needles are. A lot of guys use a special needle system where they draw from the vial using one needle, then they take the needle off the syringe and put a different needle on and inject with that needle. I don't do that. I think it's a waste of fucking time. So I use this 100%. Plus, when I travel, I will carry these with me in my bag, and these look normal to airports because, as I said, a lot of people use these for insulin injections. So airports are used to seeing these. When the airport scans your bag and they see a whole bunch of these needles, when they see a whole bunch of these things, they're accustomed to seeing them. Not like, what the hell is that? So that's why I like to use these insulin needles. All right, so what you do then is you pull the cap off here. You pull the cap off here. First, what you do is you load the needle with air, with the amount of air based on the amount you're going to inject yourself with. So this is a 1 cc needle. So if you go to 10, that's an entire cc. So I'm going to inject 0.7 cc's of vitamin B right now. So I'm loading into the 0.7. I'm loading it with air, what I'm going to load with the vitamin B. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to inject the needle into the vial, and I'm going to push the air into the vial. The reason I'm going to do that is because now I'm going to tip this upside down and suck out the vitamin B, and it's easier to suck out when you've put that air into the vial. Make sense? I don't know if you can see that in the video. It's this beautiful, beautiful red, maroon, almost purplish liquid. I'm going down to 70.7. I'm going to pull it out. So now this is done. I am now done with this. Let me put this away. Hang on. All right. So I'm done with this. Now I've got to make sure there are no bubbles in this fucking thing. So you pull down a little bit, and if there's any bubbles at the bottom, usually there isn't. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. You got to flick the needle. So when you see, like on movies and stuff in hospitals, you see the doctor, the nurse do this. That's why. They're trying to get rid of the bubbles. You don't want bubbles in your body. That's not a very good idea. So I look pretty good here. There's no bubbles. Oh, there's one at the top. Come on, motherfucker. There we go. All right. So I'm going to push up as slowly as possibly as I can. And when I push up, I'm going to get rid of this air. I don't want to tilt the needle. So I've had to learn this. I've been doing this for many years, and I've learned all kinds of tricks. You don't want to tilt the needle because you'll get this weird hibiscus bubble at the top. So you get totally level and you push it up. Again, I don't know if you see this in the video, and you keep pushing until you get a little drip. A little drip came out. So now this is ready to inject. Cool? Cool. All right, so now what I do, you can inject various places. You can inject your shoulders, you can inject right above your ass, you can inject your thighs. I've done all three. I like shoulders the best. It's just easier. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So, pull my sleeve up. See, when you're a manly hunk of man like I am, you have to navigate. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna clip this fucking thing, hang on. All right. So what you normally do is you take 3 fingers and you put it on the ball joint of your shoulder, and right below where the final finger goes where you want to inject. That's about right. Get up there, you motherfucker. Maybe I should lose weight. Right there, good. That's about right. So what you do is you take your alcohol swab. Here's what I do first, is I mark it with my fingernail. This is just something I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mark that spot. So now I swab it with alcohol. Cool, and then take this. You're supposed to like wave off the alcohol because the bacteria dies. That's how alcohol kills bacteria. It dries it out. That's what kills it. Make it dry a little bit. Then you take it, you hold it like this. Put it in, doesn't hurt. It's now in. And can you see that? And then I aspirate. So I pull it up a little bit to make sure I don't get any blood. Make sure I'm not in a vein. I'm not. And I push down. Pull it out. Then you take this again and you massage. If you don't massage, you might get clots. Some guys get clots in here. I bet the microphone's going crazy. Sorry about that. Okay. And that's it. Take this clip off, pull it down. And now I feel wonderful. No, I don't. So that's it. So on certain days, I will do a shot of shot. No, I will do a shot of, I won't give you my whole weekly schedule. There are some days I just do testosterone. There are some days I do testosterone plus vitamin B. There are days I do HCG by itself, and there are days I do HCG with vitamin B, because I do vitamin B about 3 times a week. Make sense? So you saw how fast that was. It's very simple. Then what you've got to do is you have to dispose of the needle in a special sharps disposal thing. I don't have this frame right now. You fill out this little thing, and then there's a procedure for throwing this away because this is medical or hazardous waste. What you can do, you're really not supposed to do this. I do this when I travel, is you can recap the syringe. What the hell? There we go. And I leave this cap off to show that this is a used syringe. You don't reuse these, you throw them away every time. So what you do is you buy several hundred at a time. I got a whole pile of these. I have as always, I have a 6-month supply of everything I'm doing here. I have a 6-month supply of syringes, testosterone, vitamin B, HCG, these alcohol swabs. That's why when HCG became de facto, it's not illegal, but it's just very hard to get now. It's not really a big deal to me yet because I have 6 months of that stuff stored. So I always have 6 months buffer of whatever I need. That way, if there's a pandemic or some kind of distribution problem or something weird, and for a few months you can't get your stuff, I'm covered for 6 months. So that's it. That's really it. Questions I get about this is, does it hurt? No, this doesn't hurt at all. It does hurt a little bit more if you inject in your thigh. That is a little, you could feel that a little bit, and the reason I stopped doing that is because when I was walking up the stairs after doing a thigh injection, I could feel it. I could feel where I injected into my thigh. Well, that's not cool. Whereas right here in the shoulder is fine. The butt is also really good. A lot of guys prefer the glute. Perfectly fine. It's a little complicated to get back there, but you're by yourself. If you live with someone, you can have that person do it for you. But if you live alone, you have to figure out how to do it yourself. I've done all 3. Other questions I get on this. Travel questions. Hey, have you ever been pulled over by airport security by having all this stuff in your bag? I have never had a single problem. I mentioned this on one of the other videos. Matter of fact, in terms of questions, I'm probably not going to get a lot of questions. I'm probably going to get objections. So if you're like, oh my God, I would never do TRT because I heard, then just click right here. And that's the video where I cover all the objections and why guys don't want to do TRT. So just click this video right here. Whatever objection you have, I'm sure I addressed it in there. Other questions I get. Guys will ask me how much testosterone I'm injecting. So I don't know what the ml measurements are. And again, I'm using American measurements. So if you're outside the United States, please translate for your own country. But what I will do is I will load to 1/3 of a cc. I load to the 30. So whatever 30 is, so just under 1/3, I will do that twice a week. And that is with 200 ml, or C, let me check here. I want to make sure I'm giving you correct information. 200 mg/ml. I used to use 100 mg/ml, which means I had to load my syringes to the 6. So I had to double up on this stuff. So now it's double as concentrated, but I take 50% less. It's just easier. And I do that twice a week. I do that on, let's see, Tuesday mornings and Saturday mornings. I do it twice a week. Why do I do that? Because that's what my doctor told me to do, and I have a podcast where I interview him. You can look at that. And always, please do this under the close supervision of a doctor. Please, for the love of God, do not try to do this yourself. There are guys on the internet who talk about doing this themselves and doing your own blood work and doing, please don't do that. You can do that once you've worked with the doctor for a while. That's perfectly fine. I don't really need my doctor's help anymore. I've got all the information. I still consult with him occasionally, but I've been doing this for years. So at that point, go ahead, but don't start off with this stuff without a doctor helping you, because when you first start doing this, you may have to learn to do other things. Other questions I get. So do I take an estrogen blocker? The answer is yes. I take an estrogen blocker called anastrozole. Anastrozole, which is very similar to Armidex, which I believe is the same thing under a different brand name. And that is a very teeny tiny pill. It's literally about this big, and I take half of it. So I cut them in half, I take half of one, and I take one of those 24 hours after I do a testosterone injection. So on Tuesday morning, I inject, and then Wednesday morning I take one of these very teeny tiny estrogen blocker pills, and that ensures that my estrogen levels stay perfect. And last time I did my blood work, my estradiol level was literally 21, which is perfect. You want that between 20 and 30, closer to 20, but you don't want it below 20. Mine's 21, perfect. My total testosterone, if you're wondering, last time I did the blood work, which was a few weeks ago, which was 1132. Total testosterone. You don't want to go above 1200. I talked about it in other videos. So this schedule and this protocol is working perfectly for me. I'm going to keep doing this probably for the rest of my life. I'm sure as time goes on, there will be easier ways to do this instead of using actual injectable needles. I'm sure there will be more high-tech Star Trek ways we can do this in the future, but this is something I'm going to be doing the rest of my life, because my objective, as I've said many times, is to keep my testosterone levels to the equivalent that they were when I was 18 years old for the rest of my life, going into my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. I am almost 50, and I feel fucking great, and this is one of the biggest reasons. I've said before that going on TRT is literally one of the best decisions of my entire life. And as I've said in prior videos, I consider TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, a mandatory requirement for any man over 40 pursuing the Alpha 2.0 lifestyle, with very rare exceptions. There are rare exceptions who won't need it, but the vast majority of you over 40 are going to need a little help, regardless of the things you do naturally to keep your testosterone up naturally. You could get up to 600, 700, but to go past 700 to 1200, it's kind of the sweet spot. You're probably going to need some help, and that's what this is. So that's it. Hope this has been useful. If you want more information on this, if you want more help with this, we talk about this a lot of the SMIC program. You can go to joinsmic.com for that, or you can click this video, like I said earlier, on the objections you may have if you're nervous about doing this, or you can click this video for some information on my new human growth peptide injections that I'm doing, and I'll talk more about that later as well. Have fun. Bye.